Anger is a silent thief of clarity and control, striking when we least expect it and leaving chaos in its wake. But what if you could disarm it before it strikes? Stoic philosophy offers a timeless, razor-sharp technique to stop anger cold, transforming rage into unshakable strength and deliberate power. Anger is one of the most common, and most destructive, human emotions. It can erupt in an instant, turning an otherwise calm situation into a storm of shouting, hurt feelings, and regrettable decisions. Whether it's a sharp comment from a colleague, a rude driver cutting you off, or a betrayal by someone you trusted, anger can feel justified in the moment. Yet it rarely serves us well. Ancient Stoic philosophers understood this truth centuries ago, and their insights remain profoundly useful today. This article will guide you through a Stoic approach to anger, explaining why the emotion arises, how it harms us, and, most importantly, how a simple but powerful Stoic technique can help you master it. By the end, you'll have a practical strategy to ensure anger no longer defeats you. Understanding the nature of anger. Before we learn to control anger, we need to understand what it is. Anger is an intense emotional response to a perceived wrong, usually accompanied by a desire to retaliate. It's rooted in the belief that someone or something has violated our expectations or threatened our well-being. Modern neuroscience shows that anger triggers the amygdala, releasing stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. This prepares the body for fight or flight. But in most everyday situations, there's no physical threat, only a challenge to our ego or desires. The Stoics saw this clearly long before modern science. Anger is less about external events and more about how we interpret those events. The Stoic view of anger. The Stoics, thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, believe that anger is not an unavoidable reaction but a judgment we make. To them, external events are neutral. It's our opinion of those events that creates distress. Epictetus famously said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." Seneca called anger a form of temporary madness, warning that it does more harm to the one who feels it than to the one who causes it. In Stoic philosophy, virtue and reason are the highest goods. Allowing anger to control you means surrendering reason and damaging your own character. The Stoics didn't argue that we should suppress feelings like robots. Instead, they taught us to examine our thoughts and choose responses that align with wisdom and self-control. Why anger feels so powerful? Anger can feel like a surge of energy, even empowerment. For a brief moment, it can make you feel strong or righteous. Yet that power is deceptive. Acting in anger often leads to damaged relationships. Harsh words or actions can't easily be undone. Poor decisions, choices made in anger are rarely thoughtful. Physical harm. Chronic anger is linked to heart disease, high blood pressure, and weakened immunity. The Stoics understood that real strength lies not in giving free rein to anger but in mastering it. The core Stoic technique: pause and reframe. The single most powerful Stoic method for dealing with anger can be summarized in 3 steps: pause, reframe, act with reason. 1. Pause. Create space before reacting. When you feel anger rising, the first step is to pause, literally stop yourself from speaking or acting. Seneca advised delaying any response until you regain composure. This can be as simple as taking a few slow breaths or silently counting to 10. Why it works: anger often lasts only a short time if you don't feed it. By pausing, you give the rational part of your mind a chance to regain control while the immediate chemical surge subsides. Practical tip: develop a personal pause ritual. For example, press your thumb and forefinger together and focus on the sensation while breathing deeply. This physical anchor reminds you to stay calm. 2. Reframe. Change your interpretation. Next, examine the situation through a Stoic lens. Ask yourself, is this event truly harmful, or just inconvenient? Could there be another explanation for the other person's behavior? Will this matter in a week, a month, or a year? The Stoics practiced a mental exercise called the view from above, imagining themselves observing the situation from high above or from the perspective of a lifetime. This helps shrink the perceived offense to its true size. Example: if a coworker interrupts you in a meeting, you might think, "They're disrespecting me." Reframed stoically, it becomes, they're acting from their own habits and pressures. Their interruption doesn't diminish my worth. 3. Act with reason. After pausing and reframing, you can choose a response aligned with your values. Sometimes the best action is no action, simply letting go of the issue. Other times, it might mean calmly addressing the behavior or setting a boundary. The key is that your response comes from reason, not from the heat of emotion. Supporting practices from Stoicism. While the pause and reframe method works in the moment, Stoics also recommended daily habits to reduce anger's grip over time. Daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius wrote nightly reflections in his meditations. You can do the same. Before bed, review your day. Where did you handle irritation well? Where did you slip? This builds self-awareness and gradual improvement. Negative visualization. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, imagining potential misfortunes. By mentally rehearsing difficulties, you're less shocked when they happen and less likely to react with anger. Example, visualize a traffic jam before your commute. When it occurs, you'll be more prepared to stay calm. Cultivating compassion. Remember that others act from their own struggles and ignorance. As Marcus Aurelius observed, people do wrong because they think it's good for them. Seeing others as fellow humans subject to error fosters understanding instead of rage. Applying the technique in real life. Let's explore a few everyday scenarios to see how this works. Scenario 1. Online arguments. You post an opinion on social media and someone responds rudely. Instead of firing back, you pause. You reframe, this person may be having a bad day or seeking attention. Their words don't harm me. You choose to ignore or respond politely. Scenario 2. Workplace conflict. A colleague takes credit for your idea. Your instinct is to confront them angrily. Instead, you pause and breathe. You reframe, recognition isn't the highest good. I can address this calmly with my manager later. You schedule a private meeting to discuss it professionally. Scenario 3. Family disagreements. A family member criticizes you unfairly. Rather than snapping back, you remember their comment likely reflects their own fears or frustrations. You reply with a measured tone or simply walk away until emotions settle. Benefits of mastering anger. When you consistently practice this Stoic technique, the rewards are immense. Improved relationships, people trust and respect those who stay calm under pressure. Better health, reduced stress lowers risk of chronic disease. Greater freedom, you're no longer a slave to impulses. Inner peace, you live with a sense of control and dignity. As Seneca put it, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. By delaying and reframing, you align with reason and virtue. Integrating the technique into daily life. Mastery requires practice. Here are practical steps to integrate the Stoic method. Morning intention. Each morning, anticipate possible irritations, traffic, deadlines, disagreements, and commit to responding with calm. Mindful check-ins. Set reminders to pause and observe your mental state during the day. Journaling. Record successes and setbacks each evening. Reflect without self-criticism. Stoic study. Read short passages from Epictetus or Marcus Aurelius to reinforce the philosophy. With regular application, you'll notice anger losing its hold. What once sparked fury will barely ruffle you. A modern perspective. Modern psychology supports these Stoic insights. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, one of the most effective treatments for emotional regulation, echoes Stoic principles. Thoughts influence emotions, and challenging irrational beliefs reduces distress. The Stoics were, in a sense, the first cognitive therapists. Mindfulness practices, too, align with Stoicism. Observing your thoughts without judgment creates the space needed to choose your response. The overlap of ancient wisdom and modern science strengthens the case for Stoic techniques. Final thoughts. Anger is natural, but it doesn't have to be your master. The Stoics teach that events don't harm us, our judgments about them do. By pausing, reframing, and acting with reason, you reclaim your freedom from the storm of rage. Imagine a life where someone cuts you off in traffic and you simply breathe. Where criticism rolls off without ruining your day. Where you face adversity with unshakable composure. That life is not only possible, it's within your reach. Remember, anger will no longer defeat you if you refuse to feed it. Practice the Stoic technique daily, and you'll discover a deeper strength than any outburst could ever give.